Number 16. This is the last item under identifying error type of test. Number 16. Ronald and me went on deck just before the ship sailed. The incorrect word here is letter A. Why? It should be I. I and me are both words you use when you're talking about yourself, but each one is used in a different situation. Both are first person, personal pronouns that let you talk about yourself without using your name. I and me have the same definitions, but they are in a different grammatical case. Let's see the difference. I is a subject. I as the subject, which means that it is used as the subject of a sentence, and I is the person who performed the action, the doer of the action. I is used as the doer of the action, while me is the object in a sentence, which means that it serves as a direct or indirect object to the verb, or the one who receives the action. Okay, so again, I is the doer of the action, and me is used as the object, which is the receiver of the action. Therefore, the correct answer is letter A. It should be I. Ronald and I went on deck, because Ronald and the one talking in the sentence are both the doer of the action. Let us now have the next part of your pretest, which is sentence completion. A sentence contains one or two blanks, usually, to be filled in using the choices. These questions test your vocabulary and knowledge of the finer distinctions among words. You might wonder what kinds of strategies you may use to master sentence completions. When it comes to sentence completions, the word that does not appear is the key to the meaning of the sentence, and the words that do appear offer clues to the missing word. If you can find out how the words that appear are connected, you can find the correct answer. This means that you must know more than just the meaning of the words involved. You must also understand the logic of the sentence. And let me give you some strategies that you may use upon answering questions under sentence completion. First, read the entire sentence saying blank for the blanks. Read the entire sentence, and then when it comes to the blank, say blank. This gives you an overall sense of the meaning of the sentence, and it also helps you figure out how the words or how the parts of the sentence relate to each other. If an answer occurs to you before you even look at the choices, that's better. Just look at the synonymous word from the choices. And then, next, pay special attention to the introductory and transitional words. This is the most effective strategy that you can use in answering sentence completion. Look at the transitional words. What are those? Words like but, although, however, yet, even though. Those words are transitional words. Pay special attention to those transitional words because they are key to forming the logical structure of the sentence. This will give you a great hint about the missing word. Next, you have to be sure that your choice is both logical and grammatically correct. That when you put the word into the blank, the sentence should be both logical and grammatically correct. And then, if you don't know some words, use elimination and educated guessing, which means you are able to eliminate one or more of the choices as definitely wrong. Choices that you are sure that are not related to the missing word or to the whole sentence, to the logic of the sentence. Okay? You may use those strategies in answering sentence completion type of questions. Okay. Now, there are several types of sentence completions. What are those? Restatement, comparison, contrast, and cause and effect. In these several types of sentence completions, as you practice sentence completions, you may discover signal words and phrases that serve as clues that help you choose the correct answer. And let me show you some common signal words and example for each kind of question. Okay. For the restatement type of sentence completion, commonly used transitional words or clues that you may encounter are namely, in other words, in fact, that is. For example, the pickpocket was a trickster. In other words, a blank. Meaning, the missing word has the same meaning with the word pickpocket. You may say it is a thief, because a thief is synonymous to the word pickpocket. The clue transitional words here are in other words, meaning the missing word has the same meaning with some words here in the sentence like pickpocket. Next is comparison. Word clues that you may encounter in comparison type of question are likewise, similarly, and just as blank as. For example, as shown, as illustrated by. For example, Anna was cleared of all charges. Similarly, Sam was blank. Okay. Similarly means the same. Okay, so what happened to Anna happened also to Sam. Next, contrast. Signal words that you may encounter are though, although, however, despite, but, yet, on the other hand, but, however, despite, or on the contrary. From the term contrast, meaning opposite. Example, although the tiger is a solitary beast, its cousin, the lion, is a blank. The answer is something that contrasts with solitary, such as rigorous or sociable. Next, cause and effect. Commonly used signal words in this type of question are thus, therefore, consequently, and because, and phrases such as due to, as a result, leads to. Example, a truck stole her parking spot. Consequently, Sally's blank look showed her displeasure. The answer would be a look caused by someone stealing Sally's parking spot, maybe scowling or sullen. Now let's go back to answering some items from your pretest which are under sentence completion type of questions. Number 17. After a brief and violent blank that ousted the president, General Monsanto declared himself the dictator of the country. As mentioned earlier, pay special attention for some signal words in a sentence. Okay, so let's try to find the signal word in this sentence. Why do we need to find the signal word? Because that will give you the idea of which type of sentence completion question is the sentence under. Is it under restatement, or is it under contrast, or under the other type? Now, in this sentence, okay, the signal word is the word that. Why? Because this signal word presented a result of what happened in the first part of the sentence. After a brief and violent blank, that is the cause. And the effect is something that ousted the president. This question is under cause and effect types of sentence completion question. Therefore, we are to find the proper word that will describe something brief and violent. Nuance means, letter A means a tricky variety, okay, or variety of something that is hard to notice. Okay? Do you think nuance or tricky variety is something brief and violent? Of course not. Therefore, eliminate choice A. Let's have choice letter E, lament. Okay? Lament means a cry of sorrow and grief. Okay? Now, let's try if lament is appropriate to complete the sentence. After a brief and violent cry of sorrow and grief that ousted the president, General Monsanto declared himself the dictator of the country. Does the word lament, or does the meaning of lament completes the sentence, or is it grammatically and logically correct? Of course not. Therefore, eliminate choice letter E. Okay, because a cry of sorrow and grief is not something brief and violent. Okay, so it's not the proper word. It's not the correct answer. Eliminate the choice E. Next, let's try to have letter B. Coup. It's like coup d'etat. The meaning of coup is a sudden and decisive change of leadership that is illegally taken or by force. Taken by force. So, if it is by force, is it something violent? Is it something brief? The meaning of coup is sudden and decisive change of leadership illegally or by force. A takeover by force. Therefore, coup, let's try to put this in the sentence. After a brief and violent, sudden decisive change of leadership illegally or by force that ousted the president, General Monsanto declared himself the dictator of the country. So the answer is letter B. Next, number 18. The City Council formed a committee to simplify several dozen blank city ordinances that were unnecessarily complicated and out of date. We are looking for a restatement of the clue words complicated and out of date. And for something that needs simplifying, let us try to define and eliminate some choices here. In choice letter E, pedantic, it's an adjective that means marked by a narrow focus on or display of learning, especially its trivial aspects. Do you think pedantic, the meaning of pedantic, will complete and make the sentence logically correct? Of course not. Therefore, eliminate choice E. How about the choice letter D, slovenly? Slovenly is an adjective that means negligent of neatness, especially in dress and person. It's like habitually dirty and unkept. Do you think the meaning of slovenly has the same meaning with complicated and out of date? So it's not. So it's not a restatement of those signal words. Therefore, choice letter D is incorrect. Eliminate letter D. Okay, so you have 3 choices left. Let's try to have letter B, empirical. Empirical means something that is derived from experiment and observation rather than theory. Do you think the meaning of empirical is a restatement of the words complicated and out of date? Is something derived from experiment and observation are out of date and complicated? Of course not. Therefore, empirical is not the correct answer. Eliminate letter D. So you only have 2 choices, letter A and letter C. Letter A, feckless. It means it's an adjective meaning not fit to assume for responsibility. Do you think the meaning of feckless is a restatement of complicated and out of date? Of course not. Again, wrong answer. Eliminate letter A. So the only choice you have is letter C, Byzantine. Byzantine means highly complicated and intricate. Okay, is it a restatement of complicated and out of date? It's an exact restatement of the signal words in this sentence. Therefore, the answer is letter C, Byzantine. Now let us have number 19. She hadn't eaten all day, and by the time she got home, she was blank. As I have mentioned earlier, it is also important that you understand the logic in the sentence or the meaning of the sentence, because it will help you a lot in determining or identifying the missing word. In this sentence, you may use the phrase hadn't eaten all day as a clue in determining the missing word. If we hadn't eaten all day, what would happen to us? Of course, we will be hungry. Not just hungry, we will be very, very hungry. Therefore, you're gonna find the word from the choices that means extremely hungry. And that is letter C, ravenous. Ravenous means extremely hungry. Next, number 20. The movie offended many of the parents of its younger viewers by including unnecessary blank in the dialogue. Again, understand the meaning of the sentence and find some clues, signal words, some clue words from the context of the sentence that could help you to find the missing word. If it is something that offended many of the parents of the viewers, and if it is something unnecessary in the dialogue, meaning it is something offensive with the use of words. In the choices presented, find the word that has the meaning related to something offensive with the use of words or dialogues. Okay, let's try to find the meaning of some choices here and eliminate those that are surely incorrect. Let's try to define letter B, verbosity. Verbosity means use of empty words. Do empty words offend offend people? Of course not. It is called empty words because it means nothing. Therefore, it doesn't have effect to anybody. Therefore, letter B is incorrect. Eliminate verbosity from the choices. Okay, how about letter E? Tonality. Tonality means quality of tone arrangements. Does the quality of tone arrangements or good quality of tone arrangements would offend viewers or listeners? Of course not. Therefore, tonality is wrong. Eliminate from the choices. From the choices left, A, C, and D, find the word that means or that is related to something offensive with the use of dialogue. That is letter A, vulgarity. Vulgarity means offensive speech or conduct.